So why would you ever want to row with your feet not in the straps? Well, it's actually pretty useful. Ideally, we're not relying on the foot straps to pull ourselves up to the catch. So every so often, it's good to practice without using them. Ideally, if you're doing some really fast sprint pieces, for safety, we want to make sure that we have those straps on. But if we're doing longer steady state and you want to do a steady state where you don't have straps, you're more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how this can be helpful. We'll go through a couple minutes of just doing some feet out rowing, kind of talking through it. And yeah, we'll go from there. So if you don't know who I am Alicia Clark. I'm a You Can Row 2 ambassador. And in this video, I'm going to be going over feet out rowing. If you've watched any of my other drill videos, you know what we're going to do first, and that's make sure we're set up. So dampers between 3 and 5, monitors at eye level, handle is in the handle hook that we're not putting the straps on. So just put your feet in. Make sure that the sit bones are into the seat so that you're able to sit up nice and tall. So we're going to start with feet out rowing. We'll do about 3 minutes worth, just about enough to kind of get you warmed up. If your workout's a little bit longer than that, feel free to keep going once we're done with the 3 minutes. So when you first start with the feet out rowing, it's going to be a little bit different. So I don't suggest pulling as hard as you normally do on that first stroke. Build into it because it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to have to use more of your core, especially at the finish, because you're not going to have the safety of those straps in case you're a little bit too far back. So just be ready for that. So we're going to pick up that handle. Just stick to a nice warm-up pace, 18 to 20, kind of depending on where you fall. I'll probably be around a 20. Feel free to follow me, but you definitely do not have to while you're following along here. So we'll sit ready and we'll row. So again, especially if you've never done this before, start out light, because last thing I want is for you to fall off the seat. So what you might notice is if you feel like you're wanting to pull those toes back, that might mean you're relying on the straps more than you should or more than you need to. What's going to actually help you here is at the finish to almost feel like you're going to point your toes. So let's think about that for about the next 30 seconds. So at the finish, think about pointing your toes. It's going to probably feel really weird. If this is pretty tough for you, make sure that we're getting that handle past the knees before the legs come up. If we try to bend the legs too early and we're still leaning back, it makes balancing very difficult. That's really when you're going to be relying on the straps to come back up. Having that core engaged at the finish is also going to help you stay more stable. Trying to stay relaxed as you're rowing here. Might start off pretty easy, but as now we're kind of getting into it, if you want to add a little bit more pressure, get some of that acceleration, keep pointing those toes into the footboards, having that strong finish. In about just under another minute. I'm at an 18 right now. Feeling the flow of it. Still pushing with those heels. Push, then pull. Getting those handles, getting that handle past the knees, before those knees bend. Couple more strokes here. Two more. That's one. That's two. All right, go ahead, put that handle down. All right, so don't have to unstrap our feet because they weren't strapped in to start with. So you may have noticed a couple things that got a little bit harder once you didn't have the foot straps. So take that as just some knowledge of things that you might need to work on. If you're having trouble kind of balancing at the finish, you could be really using those toes to stabilize you. So maybe working on some core stabilization or just having a nice strong finish, being able to stay up, depending on what you're kind of feeling is going on, could have different fixes. So it's hard to go over, all of those things or all those potential things in this one video. But the one big thing that will help you to come up without needing to use the toes or the foot straps is getting that handle past the knees, getting your body over before those knees bend. It's such an important position to hit, and that's going to really help you as you're coming up for the next stroke. And so that was some feet out rowing. Thanks again for following along to this video. If you liked its content, feel free to subscribe or like it, share it, any of those things. And I hope to see you in the next video.